My name is Clayton Carlisle, and I'm doing my YouTube project on Ron Clark's The Essential 55. The overall message of Ron Clark's book is to stay consistent when you're dealing with children in terms of punishments, keeping rules in place. Always be consistent with them and make sure the consequences, you follow through on what the consequences will be. Otherwise the children won't respect it, and they'll be a lot more difficult to manage. Some of the rules that stuck out to me began with Rule 11, the Random Acts of Kindness rule. Ron Clark says that you're supposed to do about one random act of kindness for a person each month. The story that he wrote with that was how he got the children in one of his classes to go on a trip to the White House and meet the Clinton administration, the President and the First Lady. I thought that was a really neat story, and it obviously is an experience that will stick with those children for the rest of their lives. Some of the other rules that really interested me were Rule 47, his Doritos rule. Never allowed to bring Doritos to a classroom. In it, he describes that this isn't something that every teacher should do, specifically Doritos, but it's kind of a make-your-own rule, something that you want the children to respect about you and follow and be consistent with. Rule 48 is that if another person's bothering you, take your problem to the adult or the teacher. Don't solve it on your own, because oftentimes that can lead to a worse outcome. Rule 49, stand up for what you believe in. That's just an important life lesson. As he says, these aren't all just rules for managing children, but things you should follow throughout your life, and for adults especially. Standing up for what you believe in is really important to being happy as a person, and I think that's one of his most important ones. Rule 52 is accept that you will make mistakes and learn from them, and then move on. That's a rule that a lot of people in life don't seem to really learn, especially as adults. I know plenty of people who can't accept that they make a mistake, and it's really infuriating to deal with. Rule 53 is probably my favorite. It's the always be honest rule, and oftentimes when you're honest, the punishments will be less severe. Honesty is a really underrated thing, and many kids have a hard time dealing with it because they know that they're going to get in trouble, and they want to try to get out of it any way they possibly can. But when you're honest and you teach children to be honest, it just makes dealing with people a whole lot easier, and that's something that will follow a person throughout their entire life. He ends the book by just going over some basic tips, like tips for dealing with children, such as kids like and need structure. Kids will work hard for you if they like who you are as a person, and kids like to know what is expected of them, and kids like to know that they're cared for. Really important rules. As someone who worked in an inner city school for a year last year, these are tips that a lot of people didn't seem to really teach me on the job, but I can, in retrospect, look back and say, these are things that I really wish I would have known. In summation, the book's very well written, and I like how for each rule, he has a story from his personal teaching experience that he weaves in, and it just makes for a very educational book. And I think anybody dealing with middle grades or elementary kids should really read it.